know that I want to say, you're Nigerian.
Yeah.
Ghanaian? Okay.
Yes.
So how did you get here? Like, how are you, like, would you consider yourself, like, Canadian? Or...
Yeah.
My story is pretty simple. My parents are from Ghana, West Africa, but I was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta.
Me, I'm from Nigeria, and it's getting to a point where it'll be 50-50, like half of my life was in Nigeria, half of it will be in Canada, like in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I think at this point I'm beginning to accept my Canadianness a lot more. So when I go out and someone asks me where I'm from, I usually say Canada first.
Okay.
And then Nigeria. But it wasn't always like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, would you... Because for me, I find that whenever... whatever the space that I navigate, somebody asks me, like, where are you from? First I have to be like, okay, first, what answer do you want? Do you want to know that I'm from Calgary? Do you want to know why I'm black? Do you want to know? So you kind of have to, like, assess all these things, and then you kind of give them the answer.
I feel if you're talking to a Canadian, then they're asking you, where are you originally from? When they ask you where you're from. But when you're talking to someone that is not Canadian, then they want to know that you're from Canada.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
But then sometimes I think it's like there's an assumption that if you look a certain way or if you have an accent, then you're not really Canadian. Like, for me, I found that there's a lot of people that I know that have, you know, their background may not, like, their parents may have been from, like, Trinidad or something like that. But their experience and everything that they know is just Canada. Like, the food might be a little bit different. But then if somebody was to, like, pick them up and drop them off in Trinidad, they might still have trouble navigating and stuff. Like, for me, one thing that I personally struggle with is I struggle with figuring out this concept of identity. To me is really interesting. Because last time when I was in Haiti, which was last May, I went back and it was just an interesting dynamic because I felt like I wasn't really received as a Haitian person because they were really confused as to why I wore my hair natural, because you're like, you're abroad, you have money to relax your hair and to get your hair done, so why?
Remy.
Basically, there's no excuse, you know? And then another thing is that I think there's this expectation because now they kind of label you as white, as the word that they use is diaspora. So, like, if you're diaspora, then you're white. And so...
Diaspora.
Yeah.
Like diaspora.
Outside.
Yeah. So, like, they have this sort of... this sort of, like, implicit, yet somewhat explicit expectation, you know, for you to be able to, like, what have you done for us?
Yeah.
Can you, you know? But they won't say it, but it's like you can see it in their eyes. Yeah. And for me, that's something that I don't know, it's a push and pull that I try to navigate, and I don't quite know, because when I think about, like, if I was to go back to Haiti, like, I don't know if I could ever see myself living there, because I feel like I can't, like, I wouldn't be able to express myself this way. Like, I can't, like, if I was to walk down the street with my hair like this in Haiti, I would be like a threat, like danger, like, you know, I might get kidnapped, like, real quick. So
I think it's the nature of living in Canada or being brought up. There's a generation of Canadians, many generations of Canadians that have been brought up in this geographical context. So it's cold outside, so we wear jackets, but then we go home and we eat fufu and soup. You know what I mean? And so I heard one poet describe it as identity based as a cubist painting, and there's so many aspects and fragments that make up an individual. And I think W.E. Du Bois talked about the third eye and seeing one's identity in many different aspects. And I think for Canadians specifically, even more so than Americans born to these generations, is that many of us are first generation, second generation. Many of us are immigrants to this land, and we've grown with the culture and with the nuances of being in Canada. And so part of our identity is here, but we also have a connection, and we're also told by the society that we're not necessarily from here.
Yeah.
But when we go back there, we're not necessarily part of that culture either, because, you know, we dress hip hop, we dress hipster, we relate to different things. We miss different things as part of the culture. So it's this sort of duplicitous bipolar identity that many of us have faced to struggle with and tackle. I personally see it as a blessing, as opposed from a curse. I think that's what the world is all about. Before the continents actually shifted geographically, they were together. There was many lands before colonialization where people of different religions and different backgrounds and different ethnicities were living together harmoniously. I think we're getting back to that.
Yeah. I feel it's like the idea of like everyone feels like it's a matter of or. So you're either black or white, or like you're either Chinese or Japanese. But you know, this new generation is a generation of and. So it's like you're black and white, or you're Caribbean and African. Like it's a matter of this whole idea of being in one place for a long time and being excluded and being on the outside. But there's so many people on the outside that is now the inside, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, like you were born in Canada, but I
was born in Haiti.
You were born in Haiti?
Yes.
But your family's from Haiti, you're in Canada here. However, there are a lot of other Haitians that have the same story, so that creates a different kind of community, if that makes sense.
Yeah.